The movie begins in ancient Rome. An architect named Lucius is failing to come up with new innovations and is struggling with money. Every idea he comes up with is rejected by the clients, who think his innovations are outdated. One afternoon, Lucius's friend brings him to a public bathhouse to unwind. Lucius thinks it is the worst place to relax, since it is filled with loud, naked people. Overwhelmed by the environment, he goes underwater and stays there for a while. Suddenly, he notices a small whirlpool forming on the other side of the tub. He goes to check it out, but is pulled by a strong current. In only a few seconds, Lucius ends up in a tunnel-like place, struggling to breathe. He tries his best to get to the surface and is finally successful, but to his surprise, he is not in a Roman bathhouse anymore. In fact, he is in a modern Japanese bathhouse, filled with old men who are in shock to see him stand naked in front of them. The architect has somehow traveled through time to modern-day Japan. Lucius, who has never seen someone with Mongolian features, assumes that the men are from a flat-face tribe. After recovering from the shock, Lucius notices that the place is more advanced than any bathhouse he has ever seen. The baskets, taps, and massaging device all blow his mind, as he regrets not thinking of these innovations himself earlier. He also accidentally enters the women's changing room and is knocked out by a screaming old lady. Then, we are introduced to a struggling manga artist named Mami. His appearance gives her an idea for a new character, hence she starts drawing his portrait. A while later, Lucius wakes up and is given a bottle of flavored milk. He is yet again baffled by the sweet and cold taste of it. In fact, it is so good that it makes him fall unconscious for a second time. When he regains consciousness, he is back in Rome, surrounded by men. They say that he drowned in the tub and was found a few minutes ago. Initially, Lucius thinks his encounter with the flat-faced tribe was only a dream, a racist dream. But then, he notices the empty milk bottle at his side. The scene cuts to 2 months later. Lucius proposed his renovation idea to the owner of the bathhouse and made it more advanced. People praise his creativity, and he makes a lot of money off of it. They now use baskets, massage booths, and even sweet milk to enhance their bathhouse experience. While in the tub, an old man wishes that he had a bathhouse at home. As Lucius is thinking of a way to make that possible, he is again pulled by a current and brought to a bathtub in the 21st century. A man comes inside and asks Lucius to help him bathe. Lucius is confused, but he does as told and finds out about many more useful tools, like the shower head and the shower hat. Coincidentally, the house belongs to Mami, who finds Lucius on the floor. She runs to get her sketchbook, but when she returns, he has already disappeared. Back in Rome, Lucius makes a house bathtub for the old man and earns a lot of money. He finally has enough to feed his wife good meals, but she is not satisfied. She desperately wants to have a baby and complains that Lucius is always busy working. They get into an argument that ends when she curses him and storms away. A few days later, Lucius is approached by a messenger of the emperor, Hadrianus. The man is known for being cruel, as rumors say that he killed the cabinet members who opposed him. Since the talk about Lucius's inventions has been going around town, even the emperor is taking interest in him. Upon meeting Lucius, he reveals that he is an admirer of art, and what Lucius has done with the public bathhouse is clearly a form of it. Impressed by his work, the emperor wants him to make a personal bath for himself. He demands that it must be out of the ordinary, innovative, and something that has never been done before. Lucius accepts the challenge and makes it his mission to impress the emperor. The entire night, he goes around the town looking for inspiration for a grand bathhouse, but finds nothing. He is embarrassed that all his ideas are a copy that he shouldn't get credit for. Suddenly, he falls into a ditch and disappears. A scene from current times shows us Mami working at a bathroom supply store. Her career as a manga artist is not going well, so she has taken a side job. But even then, she is struggling to stay awake at work. One afternoon, she accidentally leaves the water on and fills a tub to its brim. Suddenly, Lucius appears in the tub and starts breathing frantically. He stops when he realizes the tub is bubbling on its own. The manager of the shop goes to complain about the strange man, giving Mami and Lucius time to socialize. Lucius asks her to give him a tour of the place and hands her a coin. Although Mami doesn't understand his spoken language, she does understand the language of cold hard cash, and she shows him around. Lucius is mesmerized by the urinals and thinks printed toilet paper contains the secrets of the Flatface tribe's success. I really wish I didn't have to keep narrating that term. But the thing that fascinates him the most is a bidet. When he is on it, he feels like he is in heaven. Copying the idea from everything he saw, he returns to Rome and makes the Emperor the best bathhouse of all time. It has a toilet with constant water flow to clean the behind, a tub with bubbles made from slaves blowing up a pipe, a glowing aquarium, and scented candles. He exceeds the Emperor's expectations and is awarded a special necklace that has a unique sculpture of dog legs and human genitals. Lucius runs home to show the achievement to his wife, but finds her making love to his best friend. Damn. In the future, Mammy returns to her small hometown after repeatedly failing to generate ideas for a good manga and being kicked out of her side jobs. She starts working in a local bathhouse and studying ancient Roman history. The coin she received from Lucius and his disappearance has intrigued her, and she wants to know if he is actually a person from the past. Back in Rome, Lucius has lost the will to live after his wife ran away with his best friend. One day, he is approached by a messenger who is worried about the Emperor. It turns out that the Emperor lost his son recently and thinks that a crocodile is his reincarnation. He wants Lucius to design a place where the crocodile can be stored and all of his needs are met. Lucius has to be extra careful with this one, because if the animal dies, all blame will fall upon him and he will be declared a national criminal. Following that, Lucius goes back to the Emperor's bathhouse to check the water flow at his request, but when he enters the tub, he is pulled into the future for the third time. He comes outside and finds himself in a cage, stuck with crocodiles. It turns out he is in a crocodile sanctuary. At the same time, Mammy is also at the sanctuary with a date, who she doesn't like. She tries her best to get rid of the guy and is happy upon seeing Lucius inside the cage. She brings him out and shows him around the sanctuary, forgetting all about her date. Lucius learns how to take proper care of crocodiles and their preferred habitat. Mammy also takes him to learn archery to see if he is really a Roman man. He hits all the targets, confirming her suspicion. A while later, he ends up in a hot spring, which takes him back to his time. A few months later, the Emperor gets a perfect place to breed his crocodile son. He has even started to treat Lucius like family, inviting him to the palace frequently. Everything is going well in the city, until one day, the Emperor is informed of the rebels making an attack on his troops. They are not happy with his rule and want to dethrone him at any cost. The Emperor's soldiers and the rebels fight a long and hard battle that goes on for more than a year. By now, the Emperor has grown old and is ready to retire. He plans to leave the throne to his nephew, Sionius. For Sionius' first project as the Emperor, he is going to build a new bathhouse to gain the people's support. Hence, the Emperor wants Lucius to help his nephew in the project. This is a problem for Lucius, because his principles do not align with Sionius, who is arrogant and proud. Lucius knows that if he becomes the emperor, the fall of the Roman Empire is inevitable. Hence, after giving it much thought, he goes to Sionius and refuses to work for him. Sionius reminds him that going against the emperor is treason, punishable by death, but Lucius remains adamant. He goes to a fellow architect and begs him to take the project. However, the man is furious at Lucius for being the reason he is broke. They get into a fight, and Lucius is pushed into a wall. In the next scene, he is with the Flatface tribe again. He is hurt, but they are taking care of him as their own. They bring him to a hot spring where he can rest and recover. It is said that if he bathed in the water of a spring, a person can heal quickly. They also give him fermented alcohol, which burns his throat. Then, Lucius meets Mammy, who has learned to speak basic Latin. She asks him his name, but Lucius is so drunk that he falls on top of her, and the two drown in the lake. When they wake up, they are in Rome. Much to Mammy's amazement, she finds out that Lucius is about to be executed for refusing to oblige the emperor's order. Worried, she tries to convince him to take the project, but it doesn't work. Lucius leaves home with his luggage to save his life. Meanwhile, in Japan, the group of old men are looking for Mammy when they fall into the lake. Like Lucius, they also get stuck in a whirlpool and are brought to the past. Lucius is on his way to a different city when he comes across a natural hot spring on a hill. He remembers the way he was treated by the tribe and realizes that the spring can be useful to the emperor's wounded soldiers. He rushes to Mammy to tell her of his idea, which she agrees with. Following that, Lucius goes to the Emperor and presents him with the vision. He also claims that he was instructed by Antonius to make the spring. Antonius is another possible heir to the throne, who is much more eligible than Seonius. Hence, Lucius wants to make him look better in the Emperor's eyes. After being permitted to make the spring, Lucius, Mammy, and the tribe get to work. In the next few hours, they make the first hut. Gradually, many houses are built around the spring, and they turn into a resting point for the soldiers. The tribe takes care of the wounded and helps them recover quickly. They also use their knowledge of modern medicine to do so. A few months later, the soldiers win the battle against the rebels. They celebrate by drinking and dancing. Lucius and Mammy sit in private and chat for a long time. They have developed feelings for each other over the time they worked together. Lucius is the happiest he has ever been in life. That is, until the tribe suddenly disappears. Mammy also starts vanishing in front of his eyes, but before she does, he tells her that there are several ways leading back to Rome. In the following scene, the Emperor makes Antonius his advisor. Lucius is also awarded in front of the civilians for the bravery he showed in battle. People acknowledge that without him, they would have never won. Meanwhile, Mammy has started a new life in the future. One day, she is walking through the city when she sees Lucius come out of a pond. The movie ends as they meet each other again. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.